It's Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.org.
The award-winning It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Linda Baas McClelland.
And this is...
It's Movie Time! Oh, yes, indeed, today.
All right. Today, Sully opens up. Now, I've seen United 93, about 9/11, and that's a pretty violent business.
Yep.
I've seen Denzel Washington as a drunken pilot in flight. So Sully is now about the incident of January 15th, 2009.
Correct.
And what's that about, Linny?
Well, first I have to say, this is the best movie I've seen in a long time. It's exciting and it's inspiring.
All right.
And it is the story of U.S. Airways Flight 1549 on January 15th, 2009. Frigid cold weather. A flock of birds fly into the plane's engines, blowing out both of them. And Captain Chelsea Sullenberger lands his aircraft on the Hudson River, saving all the lives of the people on board. It's fabulous.
All right. So this is a reenactment by one of the world's great directors.
Oh, yeah.
Clint Eastwood, starring one of the world's great actors, Tom Hanks.
Indeed.
And is it realistic, Lenny? That's the thing for me. You know, we're seeing this in IMAX. Tell me, how's that working?
I thought it was great. I think that Eastwood, at the age of 86, he makes all the right decisions in holding the scenes of the flight and the harrowing landing for as long as possible. The film is only 95 minutes long, and yet he cleverly tells the story on many levels. He uses flashbacks. He shows Sully's nightmares after the landing. We see flight simulations examined by the inquests, asking the captain if he could have made a safe landing at a nearby airport.
Actually, he had two choices, Teterboro or LaGuardia.
Right, exactly. And of course, his tactics to land on the Hudson probably cost a lot of money and probably risked more lives.
Well, the person I mean, the people who would be most interested would be the insurers.
Exactly.
Who want to know if he brought that down unnecessarily in the river. And that, to me, provides the real tension of the film.
Exactly. The investigative board's questions give us a better understanding of the technical expertise it takes to fly and land a commercial airliner. I salute all the airline pilots out there.
Yeah.
It just...
Now, Sullenberger is got to be an exceptional pilot. When we see, and I think Eastwood has made this pretty realistic.
Yeah. So
we have this very cool, understated. In fact, one of the weaknesses, if there is, of the film is that he's not a very charismatic guy. He's very introspective, very quiet, very laid back.
Right.
But boy, does he know. He's had thousands of flights, and he estimates about 1 million people he's transported.
Right.
So when he comes to make the decision, he is just as cool as can be.
I mean, you can almost, when they show the shots of him flying this plane, trying to make the decision to land in the Hudson, you can almost see the wheels of his brain spinning, looking at all the instrument on the piano, on the
Go ahead.
looking at all the dials and everything on his the panel. I mean, his brain is just working so hard, but he knows what he's doing.
He's got Jeff Skiles next to him, his second in command, who was played very well by Aaron Eckhart.
I agree. Yeah.
Stolid, upright, almost as cool as Sully.
Right. And of course, after the accident, Sully is an instant hero. His face is everywhere on television and the newspapers, and I love it. They show even the crew of his airplane. They were even on the David Letterman show. I want to repeat that.
Go ahead.
He and his co-pilot and crew are even on the David Letterman show, which he must have been so uncomfortable because he was not comfortable with all the attention that he was getting.
And you know, you mentioned the many layers that Clint Eastwood brings to this, and I agree with you about how deftly Eastwood juggles between the past and the present. And that keeps it going, and it shows you the backstory on so much of this.
Exactly.
Now, I get a little miffed, or I get a little uncomfortable with the stereotypical wife on the phone in waiting, played by Laura Linney, who's a
Right.
great actress.
Indeed.
But this part of the film is where I think Eastwood may slip into convention.
It's the weakest part of the film,
It
I
is,
think.
yeah,
It really
yeah.
is. And so you just kind of gloss over it. You're
Yeah.
waiting to see the landing on the Hudson.
And isn't it great that he does, for I don't know how long, it could be an hour before we actually see
But
it.
through the reenactments and everything, we actually see 6 plane crashes instead of just one, which I think is great directing by Clint Eastwood. And after the horrors of, okay, I'm good.
Sure.
After the horrors of 9/11, the positive outcome of the crippled plane flying low over the river and then landing is a welcome relief. On the images of the passengers standing on the wings of the plane in the river in frigid, frigid weather are images you just can't get out of your mind.
Isn't that great? I'm wondering, he must have duplicated that. And it's one of the most memorable shots in all of
yeah.
history, isn't it?
Right.
People standing, these 155 people standing on the wings of
And
this
then
plane.
the plane surrounded by the boats and everything. The scenes of all these hardworking Americans who were involved with successful water landing and the rescue of all 155 on board. They are thrilling and they're so heartwarming. One character, I love this, one character proclaims, "It's the best news New York has heard in a long time, especially with an airplane in it." And I find it interesting. I read an article in the Dispatch today, which reminded me that right now we're at a time when our country is so divided, and Americans' national pride is at an all-time low.
Right.
And this movie reminds us how great we can be if we all work together.
Right. And you know, and that's a sentiment that I share, except that I'm a bit skeptical because in an occurrence like this, here's a plane that lands on the Hudson. What else is a ferry boat driver going to do but go over there and save those people? So I think, in a sense, it's almost easier for us to respond in moments of tragedy like this than it is in working out politically all the divisiveness and difference that's in our country and in a global way. In other words, I'm saying this is made to order for Americans because we love this anyway. We love to be helpful and we love to be quick in emergencies, but I think in the other end, it just doesn't always work. But yeah,
but it's a good time for this movie to come out, I think.
Oh, I think so too. And actually, what it is, it would have been a good time at any time for this movie to come out. You know, again, I'm so interested in Eastwood as a director, and as you mentioned, he's aging for sure. He's an octogenarian, but this is as good as anything except for Unforgiven. And he even has Gran Torino featured there.
Yes.
Right? He's had some other pretty great films, and I think this is up there with his greatest, if not the best.
Yeah.
But here's a very lean, very cool director who has a very lean, very cool film. I mean, the word is from the set, he is all business. He gets the motion picture in even before time. And there are very few takes. He's just a master craftsman, and still, and I hate to carp on age, but it is significant that he is that old and still has a film that would be the equal of any young man's.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And even though Tom Hanks, we have to talk about him.
Yes.
Plays this very understated character. I think he does a wonderful job. I can't imagine any other actor filling those heroes' shoes. He is so, he's just perfect. He's so humble.
Lenny, but you got to think about it. In the last couple of years, Bridge of Spies.
Oh, yes.
He plays a very cool negotiator. And Captain Phillips.
Exactly.
He plays a very cool captain.
Right, he saves all the lives of people.
And
on
so
board.
certainly Hanks is stereotyped.
Yeah, he's very good at playing the humble
He
hero.
is very good playing it, and yet at the same time he is totally believable. He
Yes.
is just one of those unbelievable actors who's able to make you identify with him immediately, and even if you've seen him play the same role, everyone is new. It's just, why do you think Clint Eastwood wanted him to play this? Of course.
Right.
Why did any other director, Steven Spielberg or anybody else, want Tom Hanks to play a middle-aged guy who is facing danger and is cool?
And you can see after this happens how he tortures himself with questions of how he could have handled the crisis differently. But in the end, he knows he did everything
I know.
right. And
as we mentioned before.
but yeah, I have to stick this in because this is so cool about Sully. Probably really was like this. In the end, in front of everyone, he gives the credit of the safe landing and rescue to everyone that was involved. He's not going to take it all on his shoulders. He wants to spread that responsibility around,
and I don't
that
buy it.
credit around.
I don't buy it. I mean, I do buy it in his humility.
Right.
But the point is, without him, they'd have 155
definitely.
people would have been dead.
But he was assisted by his
Oh, of
co-pilot
course he
and
was. Yes,
everyone
exactly.
else, so-
Exactly. But his genius in pulling off
Exactly.
that is just unparalleled. As he would say, I mean, nobody's ever been prepared to do that in the history of aviation.
Exactly.
All right, Linda Baas McClelland.
Yes, sir.
The film is Clint Eastwood's Sully. What grade would you award it?
It's a must-see. I'm going to give it a solid A.
Oh, good for you. And because of some of those stereotypical formulaic parts of it, I'm going to have to downgrade it to an A minus. What do you think about that?
Oh, dear.
I think we have a film here that our audience will truly enjoy.
Oh, yes.
And I hope it doesn't at all change the way they book their next flights.
Right. Those darn birds.